welcome to Chrissy's Books. I am your girl Chrissy. Thank you so much for tuning into my book wrap up for 2021. So it's a new year. Happy New Year. I am filming this on the 1st of Jan, so you know, I'm wishing you all a really great year ahead. And yeah, let's get into my top 10 favorite reads from 2021. I read a lot of books in 2021, a lot of nonfiction, a lot of basically everything, like all kinds of genres. And these top 10 books are my favorite books from the year that have been really memorable, and books that I'm gonna recommend, that I can recommend to friends, that I would recommend to friends and family. And yeah, I just really love them. So let's get into it. So, oh, by the way, you can actually watch all of these YouTube reviews for all of the books on this list. I'll put that in my description box below, so definitely check it out. If there's a book you're curious about, there's a YouTube video for it. And these books are in no particular order, just kind of listing them. So here we go. So the first book on my list is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this book a rating of 10 out of 10. I read it in the summertime. I absolutely loved it. This book was one of those books that everyone was reading in the summertime. It was just exploded and it was everywhere. It is a really, really good book. I actually was not expecting much from it, especially because I hadn't read anything from the author. And this author also wrote Daisy Jones and the Six, which is actually being turned into a TV show. So, you know, watch this space. And also I think this is being turned into a TV show as well. So yeah, I wasn't really expecting much. I just wanted something fun and light to read, and it really exceeded my expectations. I just really loved this book much more than I thought I would. I loved the writing. It was really effortless. It was cool. It was stylish. I really loved the anticipation within the story. You're kind of following this Hollywood glam celebrity family. So if you're a lover of Daisy Jones and the Six, and if you're a lover of like Hollywood and gossip and celebs and all that good stuff, you're gonna love this book. It's a really fun book, and I just really enjoyed reading it. So yeah, first book, Malibu Rising. The next book on my list is You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arafat. This book is contemporary fiction, LGBTQ plus read, and I gave this book a rating of 9 out of 10 when I had read it. It was a really captivating story. It charts two of our most intense longings, love and a place to call home. I'm reading my notes because I can't remember all this. It was definitely one of the coolest and sharpest books that I'd read in 2021. The writing in this is really just precise and on point. And it had a really refreshing protagonist, a half American, half Arab female character. And it was just a really sultry, messy book. The story had some silver linings, and it definitely left you lingering for more. It was just really unapologetic, and it was just brilliant. I really enjoyed this book, and I definitely recommend for you to read it. Also, I really like the cover of it. It's really cool. So yeah, You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arafat. The third book on my top 10 reads for 2021 is Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. This book, everyone was reading it as well when it came out. This is probably my favorite book cover from all my 2021 reads. It's just really unusual and captivating and weird. I really loved this book. So it is a contemporary fiction book, and I gave this book a rating of 10 out of 10. I loved it. I really loved the setting of this book. It was set in Bogota, Colombia. And one of the things that I loved even more about it is that it's an own voice book. And I just thought it was really brilliant. I love when I read books by authors who are from the countries of wherever they're writing about. So the author definitely knew what she was talking about with this book. The story itself and the book itself is really short. It's only 191 pages, but it really just packs a punch. It had really phenomenal, sharp writing as well. I love books that have really good writing, and the writing in this is really, really good. She just does not waste any time with writing. I loved it. I was gripped the whole way through, and this book is an absolute must read. Highly recommend it. Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. So beautiful. I love it. The fourth book on my list is a book that, again, just kind of took over the internet, the book world, and it's The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Deesha Philyaw. I had read this book in the summertime, I think. It is a fiction collection of short stories, 9 short stories, and it's also LGBTQ+ read as well. I gave this book a rating of 10 out of 10. I really liked it. It was really good. I really, really loved this book. It was just really soulful. It was really rich. It was filled with a lot of beautiful characters. So many amazing characters in this book. Very bold stories. And it's a must read, I would say, especially for Black women. And anyone who wants to read a tender, powerful, engrossing collection of short stories. Really recommend it. Love it. Check out the review. It's awesome. The fifth book on my list is We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Adichie. I almost forgot her middle name. This book is not new at all, but I just picked it up and read it this year, and I absolutely loved it. It's an essay. It's really short. I gave this book a rating of 10 out of 10 when I read it. It's just a really simple book that describes what a feminist is, and it explores what it means to be a feminist in our time today. It's an absolute must read. I feel like everybody should read this and own this. And even if you don't want to read it, she does a really great TEDx talk that actually, this is what the book is based from, is from that TEDx talk. Catch my review for it if you want to see the link for that. But yeah, number 5 on my list, We Should All Be Feminists. The sixth book on my top 10 2021 reads is not, I don't actually have a physical book for it, but I'll stick a picture of it, is I think my favorite read from this year, and it's Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. This is a nonfiction book, and I gave it a rating of 10 out of 10. I actually listened to the audiobook because I want a copy, and I was like, all right, I'll listen to this. It took me about 4 months to listen to this book because it's such a big book and it's heavy, but it's brilliant. I really loved this book. It's a nonfiction read that examines the unspoken caste system that has shaped America and shows how our lives today are still defined by a hierarchy of human divisions. So that's what it's about. I'm just gonna say read this book because it's just simply, I think it's my favorite read for 2021, or definitely top 2. And it's a book that I'm going to go back to in the future and reread again, and I would recommend it to everyone. It's just really good. If you want to learn more about race and you just want to learn about caste systems, just read it. It's so good. Loved it. The 7th book on my list is Things We Lost to the Water by Nguyen. So this book is a historical fiction read, and I gave it an 8 out of 10 on my ratings. Read it through the summer. It's a story about the search for identity in a foreign land and loss, and it's about moving on. And it's also about the Vietnamese immigration experience. So I just really enjoyed reading this book. It was just really nice and very memorable. It had a lot of layers, and it was actually very visually stimulating to read. I like books that kind of transport you to wherever the book is based. It was really powerful, and it was an emotional read. So if that's the kind of book you're into, I definitely recommend this book. And also, it was on Obama's favorite books, I think, from 2021 or 2020. I can't remember which. I think it's 2021 because that's when the book came out. Yeah, read it. I really loved it. I read a digital version, which is why I don't have the physical book. So yeah, Things We Lost to the Water. The 8th book on my list is a book called From Scratch, and it's got a very long title. I can't remember the name of it, but you can see it in the, I'll write it down when I actually, you know, post this video. And it's by Tembi Locke. It's a memoir, nonfiction, and I gave this book a rating of 9 out of 10. This was just such a beautiful book. It was really devastating, but also hopeful, and it was just raw. I really loved this book. It's a really nice book to read in the summertime. And it's based in Italy and the US. I listened to the audiobook of this read, and it's actually narrated by the author herself, Tembi Locke. I loved it. It was just such a really beautiful book. It was soulful, it was warm, it was a beautiful memoir, and also it's really perfect if you are a big foodie. If you love food, there's just nothing but food all over this book. It's just so good and it makes you hungry. So yeah, that's From Scratch. The 9th book on my list is The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi. This is a historical fiction read, and I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's a really popular book, this book, and also it's on Reese Witherspoon's book club list. That's kind of how I heard of it. I really liked this book. It is a portrait of one woman's struggle for fulfillment in a society pivoting between traditional and modern. Really beautiful setting. I just love the setting for this book. I actually listened to the audiobook, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Whoever narrated it, I just thought it was really lovely. It's a story about perseverance, about womanhood, about finding independence. So if you want like a good old feminist read, definitely add this to your list. Really good protagonist, and I enjoyed reading it. I really did. So it's a book that I'm going to remember for years, and I would recommend to friends for sure. And last but not least on my list is One of the Good Ones by, I don't have the author in front of me, but it's two authors, Maika and Maritza Moulite, I think is how it's spelled. It's a young adult book. It's fiction, LGBTQ+, and I gave this book a rating of 10 out of 10. And it's actually one of the first books that I had read in 2021. I read it in January, sometime in the beginning of the year. Pretty sure like the first or second book I read in January, and I loved it. I was not really expecting much when I read this book. And if you are someone who loved books like The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, I think it is, you're gonna love this book. But I loved this book even more than The Hate You Give. It was really great. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the characters of this book. It was a really gripping story and a gripping read. It's a pivotal read, and I highly recommend it. It's perfect for middle schoolers, it's perfect for high schoolers, adults, you know. And it was just a really relevant read that I would definitely recommend to parents who want to kind of, you know, broaden your kids' reading. It's just a really good book. Young adult books these days are amazing. So that's it. That is my top 10 list for 2021. I hope you enjoyed my video, and check out the reviews below for all the books on this list. Ooh, I actually have a bunch that I wanted to show you, books that I'm looking forward to reading. These books here are just a little glimpse of what I'm looking forward to reading in the next month or so. They just look really fun and interesting. This one is called 1,000 Steps by T. Jefferson Parker. It's just, look how much fun that looks. I just really love it. I think it's like a mystery sort of like Californian read. Another one that looks absolutely fantastic is White Lies, the double life of Walter White and America's Darkest Secret. It's a biography about Walter White, a black civil rights leader who passed for white in order to investigate racist murders. It sounds a bit heavy, but I'm really looking forward to reading that. Another one that looks really fun is this book, Wildcat. I think it's going to be like a sort of comedy type of feminist read, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Wildcat by Amelia Morris comes out, I think, in February sometime, February 2022. And then this is just, I love Greek mythology, and this is like a collection of Greek mythology tales told from women's perspectives, and also it's just really beautiful. Look at that cover. So yeah, those are just some of the books that I'm looking forward to reading. So many books I need to read, and yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and leave your comments below. Let me know if you've read any of these books, and if you liked them or if you disagree. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I look forward to posting more videos for 2022 reads. Have a great year.